Because the truth is, we can't make progress on our goals and dreams when we're making choices every day that sabotage our focus, our motivation, and our energy. You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Well, hello, friend. I'm your host, Carlene, and I want to give you a big old high five and welcome you to the Distracted Dreamer family. And you are going to be so glad that you tuned into this conversation today, because when we're feeling like everything going on in the world is out of our control, it's so empowering to be reminded that you are in control of what matters most: your time, your energy, your days, and how you're spending them. Now, I know we've all heard the endless number of productivity tips and hacks. We've tried them. Some work sometimes, some work none of the time. And there's so many that it's impossible to consistently act on them. And then we're left to feeling like there's no way out of this overwhelming pressure to constantly be producing and knowing in our heart of hearts we're neglecting to focus and spend time on the things that matter most to us, our dreams. We tell ourselves, if only there was more time. We tell ourselves, we'll get to it after this other one more thing gets done. We're stressed and we're exhausted from trying to do it all, and we're surrendering to the priorities of others. Can you relate? Which is why I'm going to show you how you can own your day. Because when you own your day, guess what? You own your week. And then you own your month. And then you own your year. And you know what? You own your life. So get ready to discover what's getting in your way and learn how to get it all done. So if you're ready to say hello to a new way of living, no more ending your days stressed, wondering what the heck you even did all day, and start focusing on what's most important to you, then stay with me. Now, there are 3 important steps to take to really own your day. And this is a lot of information, and I want all of this to really sink in for you. I also want you to have a chance at experimenting with these things that I'm sharing with you today, which is why we're going to be talking about these 3 steps over the next 3 episodes. So today, we're going to cover the first step, and yes, the most important step. First, I want to start with a quote from Marie Forleo, and she says, "It's up to you to decide what type of life you want to live." And here's what this means. It means that you can be in control of more than you think you can, because it's the daily decisions and the actions that add up to the life that you're living, to the life that you're creating. Those daily choices, they become your life. And here's the hard truth. If you don't plan and prioritize your time, if you don't figure it out, somebody else will. If you don't plan and prioritize your time, somebody else will. And we're not going to have that anymore. You're going to take control. So if you're not focusing on what's most important to you, then you're focusing on what's most important to somebody else. Be it your boss, your kids, your spouse, that long-lost friend who suddenly needs you again, whoever it is, whatever it is, you're focusing on something that's most important to somebody else, not to you. You're spending your precious time and energy attending to other people's priorities. My question for you is, what about your dreams and the things that are most important to you? What about those things? And if you choose, you can focus on what matters most to you. And here's the great thing. You don't need more time. You need to own your day. And I'm going to show you how to start with step 1. Now, this whole approach, this whole own your day approach, it doesn't matter if you're single or married, if you have 1 child or 5, if you're a freelance writer or a CEO, or you're a shift worker or a 9-to-5er, if you're at the bottom of the corporate ladder or a soon-to-be retiree. The beauty of the own your day approach is that it works for all of us. And when you implement it, you will have more energy, you'll have better health, you'll be happier, And most importantly, you will have more freedom and time to give to your family, your friends, and your hobbies. Now, there is just one catch. The Own Your Day approach, it requires you to think differently and let go of your old ways. Because the squeeze and more approach to life, it isn't working for you or anyone else. So let's dive in. The first step to own your day is to control your morning. Yep, that's the first step, control your morning. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, Carlene, are you going to tell me what kind of morning routine to have? No, I'm not. But here's what you should know, is that the most productive people control their mornings. And this does not mean stuffing your morning routine with a bunch of things you think you should be doing, like, oh, I'm going to get up and journal, and then I'm going to do an hour and a half workout. No, it's not about any of that. It's about actually filling your own well first so that you can have a joyful, productive day. And it is scientifically proven that there are certain behaviors that sabotage your day and others that actually propel you forward. So when these self-propelling behaviors are done on a regular basis, and that is the secret, is consistency, it greatly increases your chances of feeling and performing at your best. So here are some examples. These are the most common self-sabotaging morning habits that we're going to tackle today. And I'm going to share with you what they are and then what you can do about them. And these 4 things, they create brain fog, burning out your ability to focus before you've even gotten out of bed. Yeah, you're sabotaging your day before you've even gotten out of bed and you didn't even know it. Well, today you're going to know it. You're going to have so much more awareness around this because these things, they set you up to procrastinate. They increase your cortisol, that stress hormone, and that is the energy that you're carrying with you throughout your day. So let's not do that anymore. Let's figure out how to end that. Now, the most common self-sabotaging behavior we have, you guessed it, it's checking our phones first thing in the morning before we've even rolled out of bed. If you grab your phone before getting out of bed and you start consuming all this low value, low quality information like email and news and social media, you're actually starting your day focused and distracted by everyone else, most people that you don't actually even know, and not focused on yourself. And let's face it, quite often, this digital world that we live in, it makes us feel like garbage about ourselves and our lives. And none of us want to feel like garbage, but we keep doing it. So what most of us don't realize is that if you kick the habit of getting sucked into everything on your phone first thing in the morning, there are some amazing long-term benefits. First of all, when you kick that phone habit first thing in the morning, you're going to improve your attention, your concentration, and the ability to tackle challenging tasks, all with greater ease. The second thing, and this is a big one, is you are going to have increased motivation. You will maintain higher levels of motivation throughout the day that leads to better productivity and you actually accomplishing the things that you set out to accomplish for the day. Wouldn't that be great? So, if that's true, why do we continue to go to our phones first thing? Yes, you know me. We are going to geek out together on the science behind the connection of going to your phone first thing in the morning and your motivation and energy for the rest of the day. The science says that when you stay off your phone, you'll be avoiding early depletion of your dopamine and actually preserving it for later. So this is why it matters. And renowned psychiatrist Dr. Alec Magia, also known as Dr. K, he reveals the shocking truth about what your phone is actually doing to your brain. It's doing it to all of our brains. First, let's understand what dopamine is. It's actually known as the motivation molecule. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, and it plays a crucial role in how we feel pleasure and motivation and satisfaction. And a lot of times it's referred to as the motivation molecule or the feel-good chemical because it drives us to seek out rewards that feel good and then to continue taking action towards our goals. Dopamine is also part of the reward system. So when we anticipate that we're going to receive a reward or we actually get a reward, our brain releases dopamine that says, hey, that felt good. Let's do that again and get me another hit of dopamine. So we're always chasing the dopamine, which is what is happening when you're on your phone. We keep getting hit after hit of dopamine that feels good, and that's how the endless scrolling takes over. And as a result of this, your phone is literally stealing your dopamine. So what does this have to do with us looking at our phones in the morning? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Our dopamine levels, they are naturally at their highest in the morning. So this dopamine peak, it actually sets the tone for our motivation and productivity throughout the day. Overnight, our dopamine is building up. It's building up a huge reserve of dopamine for us for the next day, okay? So when you reach for your phone immediately after waking up, it can deplete those high dopamine reserves. And the instant gratification that you get from the notifications and the likes and all the social media and emails, it gives you those quick dopamine hits, but it can diminish your capacity for having motivation later in the day. So you see, when we use our phone first, we enter what we call the dopamine depletion cycle. The first part of that cycle is the instant gratification. When you're engaging with your phone first thing, it gives you immediate rewards, like those messages and news updates that spike dopamine levels rapidly. And then after that, it's kind of think about that instant gratification as when you're eating a piece of chocolate and you get that rush of sugar high. Well, what happens after the sugar high? You get the sugar lows, you crash. So after that instant gratification, there's this dullness. The dopamine levels drop, in turn, making ordinary, less stimulating tasks feel very mundane, and they become harder to engage with. And this can lead to decreased focus and productivity as the day goes on. Okay, I know this is a lot of information. Let me try explaining it another way. We wake up in the morning, and our dopamine stores are full. What happens is we have a reserve of dopamine. So the way this works is I want y'all to think about this. Think of your dopamine stores as a lemon. At the very beginning, when the lemon, your dopamine stores, it's full of juice. The juice is the dopamine. A small squeeze of the lemon, it gets you a lot of juice or a lot of dopamine. But by the end, you have to squeeze a lot to get very little juice. And this is how dopamine is in our brain. So in other words, if you tap into technology, it's literally like squeezing most of the juice out of the lemon first thing in the morning. And then that means it's also going to impact your ability to do the work or to focus or to feel joy on all those things that normally, if you did those things first, you would feel a sense of reward and joy for doing them because you have dopamine working for you, but you've already depleted it. So yes, technology is like a hard squeeze on a lemon. So if we use all our dopamine first thing in the morning, we squeeze the lemon really hard and we get all the juice out. And then you have nothing left to feel good about because all of your dopamine has been depleted. Does that make sense? First, let's remember with the dopamine, the issue is that if you engage in a high dopamine activity at the beginning of the day, you don't have as much dopamine to reinforce and feel pleasure for other activities later on. So we're emptying our lemon at the very beginning. And then when it comes time to work on your resume, let's say, there's nothing left to motivate you, so you can even get started. And even when we move in the right direction and somehow find the way to start on that resume, it's harder to keep going because our brains aren't getting that positive reinforcement from the dopamine because there's no dopamine left. There's no pleasure left to feel. Okay, let me sum this up. Technology is like a vice squeeze on the lemon. So you get a lot of juice or dopamine. You empty your lemon of dopamine very quickly, and then there's no dopamine left to work on your goals, your dreams, or just the basic responsibilities of life. So there you have it. That is the scientific explanation of why picking up that phone first thing is sabotaging your day. We are literally making our day harder than it ever has to be before we even get out of bed. So, my challenge for you and for all of us is to stop with the phone first thing in the morning. It's not complicated. It's stop. Get a regular alarm clock. You don't need your phone. Put your phone in another room at night. If you're afraid that your kids or your parents would need you, tell them to always call, don't send texts, and set notifications to private except for them. This is all a choice. Remember, we talked about that. This is all a choice. You can do this. Really, experiment with it for a week and notice how your energy, focus, and your motivation in your days actually improve. Now, I know you're thinking, that's great, but I know you're also wondering, what the heck will you do if you're not going to be on your phone in the morning? Well, friend, the answer is you'll focus on you instead of everyone else. You're going to take a few minutes to check in with yourself on how you are actually feeling today. Are you even aware of how you feel when you wake up without all the influence of your phone? Did you get a good night's sleep? Are you worried or excited about your day ahead? Do you have good energy to start your day? How about a good stretch? Even before you get out of bed, stretch. You know what else? Find a mantra that you say to yourself. Mine is, it's going to be a good day. No matter if I slept like garbage or I'm not feeling it, I tell myself, it's going to be a good day. Okay, so step 1 to own your day is to own your morning. And the first way to own your morning is to stop checking your phone first thing and stop depleting your dopamine. All right, the second thing we do is we literally set ourselves up to be overwhelmed in the morning. And here's what I mean. We tend to leave too many decisions to be made in the morning. Morning time when we wake up, that's not a good time to be making decisions. No. We don't want to be doing that. Think about how much time do you waste in the morning trying to figure out what to wear? Or what you're going to pack in the kids' lunches? Or what you need to put in your bag to take to the office with you? And these all seem like small things, but they are all small decisions that when left to the morning, create anxiety and overwhelm for us. And all this leads us to being late and feeling scattered. What you do or don't do the night before, it dictates how your morning goes. So here's your action item for this. Pack lunches, including yours, the night before. Pick out your clothes the night before. Identify the very first thing that you're going to work on when you start work. Decide what's for breakfast. Do the dishes the night before so you don't have to decide if you should rush to do them in the morning. Pack your bag for work. All the night before. Your morning self will thank you, I promise. Okay, the third way that you can control your morning is to set a firm wake-up time. Now, in fact, deciding when to get up, it's actually our very first decision of the day. And what I'm saying is that this shouldn't even be a decision. It should just be our routine. It should just be a habit. It should just be a mindless thing that we do every day. Every day you get up at 7. There's no decision. There's no procrastination. It simply is. Saying you'll get up between 6:30 and 7 a.m., no, that does not qualify as a committed wake-up time. Not setting your wake-up time, it only leads to morning procrastination. You set your wake-up time. The world doesn't set it for you. Saying you'll sleep in until the dog or kids wake you is not you taking control of your wake-up time. Are you really leaving this important decision in the hands of the dog and the kids? And what's interesting here is that most high achievers, they wake up early, like 6 a.m. early. Not a morning person? That's okay. It's not critical for you to rise with the sun, but it is essential that you take control and commit to a wake-up time that works for you. Now, there's 2 ends of the spectrum that you can fall on with this. So ask yourself, which person do you want to be? Do you want to be the person that sleeps until the last possible minute and uses that urgency of being late, that adrenaline to get ready for your day? Or would you rather be the person that actually carves out time for a routine that gets you centered and motivated and energized, and then you set your wake-up time according to that? You get to choose. because you are in control of how stressful your mornings will or will not be. So you guessed it, your action item here is to set and commit to a wake-up time. And this leads us to the fourth way that you can control your morning, is stop hitting the snooze button. Yeah, I preach this one constantly because it is so detrimental to your cognitive energy. Raise your hand if you hit that snooze button. Here's why it's so important to commit to never hitting the snooze button again. When you hit the snooze button, it means your very first action in the morning is procrastination. And that's the energy you're carrying with you all day. And science has proven that when you hit the snooze button, you're taxing your brain and draining your cognitive fuel before starting your day. And studies have shown when our brains go back and forth between sleep and wake multiple times in a short amount of time, we lose up to 4 hours of focused time during the day. 4 hours. Let's do the math here. That equates to 20 hours of your work week is lost. Half your work week. Yikes. So here's what you can do. Set your alarm for the actual time you just committed to waking. Not 15 minutes before or an hour before. The actual time you need to get up. Set your alarm across the room so you are forced to get out of bed to turn it off. Boom. That's it. Do this for a week, and you will be well on your way to retraining your body and brain to get up when the alarm goes off. Okay. That is how you control your morning. That's it. Do those 4 simple things and your morning will be transformed. Now, let's wrap this up. So today we talked about the first step of 3 to own your day, and that is to control your morning. And then we broke it down into the 4 most impactful ways to control your morning and the rest of your day. So the first one is stay off your phone. Instead, check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How did you sleep? What's your energy going into the day? Give yourself a good stretch before getting out of bed. And finally, repeat a mantra that will guide your day. Like mine is, it's going to be a good day. The second way to control your morning is to stop making all the decisions in the morning. Make fewer decisions in the morning. Make all these small, mundane decisions the night before. Lay out your clothes the night before. Pack the kids' lunches and backpacks the night before. Pack your lunch and bag the night before. Decide what's for breakfast the night before. Decide what your first task is when you start work. All the night before. Remember, your morning self will thank your night before self every single day when you do this. The third way to control your morning is to set and commit to a firm wake-up time. It's not sometime between 6:30 and 7 a.m. It's, I get up at 6:30. Your wake-up time is not a decision. It's a habit. It's a routine. It simply is. And finally, the last thing is to stop hitting that snooze button. Set your alarm to the time you committed to in the previous step. Put your alarm across the room and get up when it goes off. Do not go back to bed. Do not start your day procrastinating by hitting the snooze button. Because the truth is, we can't make progress on our goals and dreams when we're making choices every day that sabotage our focus, our motivation, and our energy. Do these things for yourself, for your health, and your dreams. So tell me, which of these will you be experimenting with first this week? I want you to pick something to experiment with before next week's episode comes out when we do step 2 for owning your day. So leave me a text by clicking the Send Carlene a Text link in the show notes and let me know. Again, in the next episode, we'll be covering the next critical element in part 2 of 3 of the Own Your Day series. So be sure to tune in next week. You don't want to miss this one. I love spending time with you here. And if today's episode sparked something for you, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a review, share it with a friend, or come chat with me on Instagram. And thank you so much for tuning in. And your dreams are waiting for you. Your time is now. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode.
Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. You know, the stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.